Good morning from Lake Union in Seattle, Washington, home to one of our Denison offices. This is a densely populated and busy waterway that forks off at the north end. Heading west will take you to Puget Sound. Heading east, however, takes you beneath the I-5 overpass. The waterline in this part of the country is some of the most inspiring I've seen throughout my travels. A special part of getting to bring you today's walkthrough was in fact the cruise itself, spotted with boathouses and a few remaining shipyards, as well as the campus of the University of Washington. These waters have a rich history, as does today's yacht. Built in 2007, this 88 Alaskan Skybridge Custom is an unparalleled blend of luxury motor yacht, dependable trawler, and advantageous cruiser. Her recent arrival into a brokerage market with remarkably low inventory couldn't be more timely for the buyer on the hunt for something capable, livable, and stout. In all three of these categories, this 88 proves herself without a doubt. As we round the turn on the south side of the campus, we arrive at an area referred to as the Cut. This is where the women's and men's Husky crew roster compete when in season. The most broadly held phrase associated with the University of Washington campus is, iconically, the greatest setting in all of college sports. With the football stadium in the background and our bow pointed just past Union Bay, I'm excited to take you through this 88 Alaskan listed centrally with broker Marvin Nielsen in our Seattle office. As we begin, I'd like to start with her make and model. Built with Alaskan's 30-plus years of experience, she was introduced as the 80-foot Alaskan Skybridge Pilothouse. Here's what her original profile looked like. That was until her owner decided to add a more expeditious element to this world-class trawler. It was at this point that the boat came out of the water and underwent a year-long process of adding a fishing cockpit to her stern. And this took the boat to another level. They immediately noticed that the boat no longer had a squat when she was underway. This played a big part in increasing her performance and efficiency. This process also included adding some extra range with the addition of fuel tankage, at last giving her room for around 2,700 gallons of fuel. A far less obvious upgrade from her time in the yard was the addition of these oversized boat deck support beams. These were added because of her whole new level of capacity. This was after the owner decided that an overachieving tender was the way that he wanted to go. Aft on the tender deck is where you find an 18.5-foot Scout that's been customized to the max and has a top speed of around 50 knots. Scout customized the order by reducing the boat's weight, making it easier to get on and off the yacht with the use of this sturdy 2,500-pound davit. Having a tender with a 150 horsepower Yamaha outboard completely changes how you spend time on the water, which is where that extra tankage in the cockpit comes in handy. When the tender is in the water, you're left with a ton of space to entertain. The tender deck continues forward, which brings us to the back side of the Skylounge. A high arching awning comes out rather far over a large storage area. The centerline compartment has been refit for a large propane grill. Looking back overhead real quick, I want to point out what we see up on the hardtop. She's equipped with a pair of 6K and 12K radars that feed into her Nobletech navigation software system. Forward is a KVH track phone dome as well as a track vision dome providing TV service. Also note the 3 large skylights that open up into the Skylounge, giving that space all of the fresh air and sunlight it needs. Next, let's take a look at one of the 88's most important aspects, the Skylounge. This feature is about as far as you can take the trawler experience. It may be the same height as a flybridge helm position, but this commanding Skylounge leaves even a polycarbonate glass enclosure in the dust. Nothing comes close. The design of this space created a comfortable, elevated area in the aft port corner for guests who want to join in on the cruising experience. Throw in the dayhead on the starboard side, and you may just find yourself up here far more often than not when underway. Forward of the dayhead is an under-counter fridge, adding to the creature comforts. And then all of the way forward on the starboard side is a heavy-duty privacy hatch that locks from the inside for added security. As one of the most overachieving yachts on the brokerage market, this upper helm position is what sets the experience of running this boat apart. Designed to make the trip from Alaska to Costa Rica comfortably and safely, this long-range trawler was built to give you the confidence to take those longer trips. With windows in every direction you look, there's terrific visibility from any spot you find yourself. When you combine the amount of natural light that these let in, along with the overhead skylights, you have a refreshing place to start the morning's cruise. The captain on board the boat was telling me about how he used to run Coast Guard cutters around when he was enlisted, and how since then, in the last 30-ish years, this is one of only 2 quote-unquote perfect yachts that he's ever run. That's high praise coming from a captain who's run hundreds of boats in that time frame. He also noted how much better the boat performed after the refit in which they added the yacht's cockpit. The boat planes out beautifully now because of this feature. At some point, the owner of this boat got tired of not being able to fish out of it and had the cockpit added. Along with this crucial addition comes a whole list of other additional benefits. I've already mentioned the extra fuel tankage, but this area was really added to make it an incredible fishing experience. You've got an aquarium-style live bait well with a freshwater hose and a fuel hookup for the tender found directly below. Additionally, there's a ton of convenient storage in the gunnels and a deck plate for a fighting chair. A few other important things found back here are the shore power cables that are on electric Glendenning reels, as well as a convenient freshwater cockpit shower right by the crew entrance. Centerline and aft is the entrance into the crew quarters. First, you arrive at a split head with a large shower on the port side. Opposite is a head finished as well as any ensuite found on board the boat. Just outside of this is a storage area with a tabletop to get some work done on. Also in this area is a microwave just above a fridge. Facing the port side from here, we see a double berth with storage all around and beneath. Next, we move forward and through the watertight door of the engine room, which is where we find twin Caterpillar C18 engines. An important item that I want to point out down here is the sewage treatment plant. This means you won't have any smells on board from the holding tank. Aft of this is one of 2 25 kilowatt Northern Lights generators that power the vessel when she's off shore power. When both engines are in between 1200 and 1250 RPM, this 88 is usually moving along at around 10 knots. At a cruise speed like this, the yacht has a range of around 2,000 miles. When you're running her at full throttle, this trawler pushes 20 knots and can save you some time if you're up against the clock. Just 4 steps up from the cockpit brings us to the aft deck. The centerpiece of this area is the dinette that can seat 8 all around a stone table. And then looking outboard of the dinette, we see that there are boarding doors to port and starboard. Looking forward into port, we see a set of stairs that lead to and from the tender deck. This is right next to a sink and a serving area, with storage below. Looking to starboard from here, we see the wing station. Enclosed in this area are engine throttles, a Simrad steering control, as well as a washdown. Cutting down on the wind in this area are wing doors that give us access to wide side decks. As you move forward, you'll notice that the width makes it easier for oversized fenders to move forward and aft. These secure walkways lead us all of the way forward where they meet together at the foredeck. When you see this boat from the waterline, there's no mistaking that this oversized bow was built to handle Alaska and British Columbia with ease, along with the warmer waters of Central America. No matter the weather or most conditions, you can rest assured this 88 Alaskan is up to the task. Surrounded by a high stainless bow rail, the foredeck is equipped to handle the task at hand. Twin Maxwell 4500 hydraulic windlasses draw a 178-pound plow anchor with 455 feet of chain on one side. The secondary anchor is 110 pounds. Centerline are a pair of deck cleats as well as large skylights that open up into the bow VIP below. Along the bow rail to port and starboard are stainless fender racks with heavy-duty hardware. And then turning our attention aft and centerline is a private seating area, a great place to sneak away for a cup of coffee. Over on the port side of this seating area, we find a compartment with hookups for shore power as well as water. And then finally, I want to point out that passage in and out of this separate foredeck space is by way of a molded fiberglass gate. Now let's move into the salon through a double door entrance from the aft deck. Stepping inside, this feels nothing like a typical salon. It feels homey and comfortable. In the aft portion of this space is seating for 6 between an overstuffed sofa and an armchair on the port side. Opposite, there are a pair of leather recliners on the starboard side. Forward of the seating, just offset to port, is a working fireplace for those chilly, overcast days. From behind this arises a 42-inch TV that hides away below a gorgeous stone countertop. Also found in this area are the controls for the salon's AV system. Looking outboard, let's make a stop at the bottom of this staircase where we step into the midship master. At the foot of the stairs, we step into a full beam suite with a warm Sapelli woodwork package. Facing aft is a king berth with all sorts of intricate built-in storage all around. For example, this area on the port side of the bed. More storage is found on the aft bulkhead, as well as a wall-mounted TV and a desk. Next to the desk is the entrance into the master ensuite with a pair of sinks and a large shower stall. Stepping out of the ensuite and looking to starboard is a built-in love seat below hull-side windows with storage to both sides. Forward of this seating area is a huge walk-in cedar-lined closet that we'll circle back around to at the end of today's walkthrough. Just outside of the owner's entrance, I'd like to point out the secondary access into the forward end of the engine room. Now let's pick back up as we leave the salon and step into the galley. This is where everything comes together on this boat. Dark joinery, a ton of windows, and an expertly thought through layout complement each other really well in this space. The galley proper is U-shaped and on the port side. Some of the appliances found in the area are at a level that I haven't seen on a yacht under 100 feet. A few of these are an oversized sub-zero refrigerator that sits next to a commercial gas Wolf oven and stovetop. Above this is a microwave. Looking outboard, set just below the stone countertops, is a twin sink basin, a trash compactor, and a full-size dishwasher. Over on the starboard side of the galley, we find additional storage and a few other appliances, like these 2 freezer drawers, plenty of bottle storage, and an ice maker all the way forward. Aft of this storage area is a large pantry that was formerly a dayhead, something that was added up in the Skylounge. An L-shaped seating area is found just forward of the galley that serves as the primary dining space on board. When the tabletop folds out, you're left with enough room for 10 to gather around. Even more storage is found below the seating. Across from the dinette to starboard are the steps that lead up to the Skylounge, an area that we've already touched on. Forward of the dinette is the lower helm, a beefed up version of the upper helm. This driving position once for nothing. This helm offers a protected feel and is well equipped for a boat designed to face rough conditions. First, we see 3 17-inch displays that are loaded with Nobletech navigation software that guides this yacht on her course. Below the 2 main displays are a pair of Cat engine monitors. And then moving from left to right is a searchlight control, stabilizer fin controls, and a Simrad autopilot. Outboard of these is a Simrad steering control, bow and stern thruster joysticks, and Glendenning throttles. Finally, note how close your side deck access doors are. This is something that makes running this boat as a couple especially manageable. Just forward of the starboard boarding door is a set of winding stairs that offers us access to the lower guest companionway. Heading forward at the landing brings us into the bow VIP stateroom. With over 7 feet of headroom, this VIP is a testament to how oversized the bow of this 88 Alaskan really is. To each side of the berth are cedar-lined hanging lockers, and aft on the starboard side is an ensuite with a large shower stall. Leaving the VIP and heading aft to port brings us to another stateroom, this one with a bunk layout. At the foot of either berth is built-in storage. And then facing forward, we see the entrance into this cabin's ensuite. Stepping out of this cozy stateroom and heading all of the way aft in the lower companionway will bring you to the final guest stateroom with a centerline entrance that leads into port. Side-by-side berths and a spacious layout make this one of my favorite spaces on board. There's excessive storage in here, as well as an ensuite with a large shower. Looking back out into the hall from this cabin, we see the boat's laundry center with full-sized washing and drying units. And then immediately forward is a door that accesses the deepest part of the master stateroom's walk-in closet. This huge storage area comes in handy when you have kids on board and you find yourself periodically checking in. With 5 staterooms in an overbuilt yet understated quality, this 88 can take you places that most other motor yachts can't, and she does so in timeless style. During the day, you have several options for where to spend your time, whether connecting to the water at the stern with a fishing rod in your hand, or eating a family meal at one of the several dining spaces found on board. And it's good to know that after a long day on the water, you and your friends or family can retreat below decks for a restful night in cabins that nod to the charms of traditional yachting. On behalf of the Denison yachting team, specifically our crew in Seattle, thank you so much for joining us on today's walkthrough. If you have any questions about this 88 Alaskan, or if you'd like to see her in person, you can reach out to Marvin Nielsen anytime.